Hi everyone, it's Kelly. I am back again with a process video. Today's video is using two of my absolute favorites. I'm going to be using a cut file and also adding some mixed media to this layout. And as you can see, I've already cut the cut file. That is a cut file designed by Ashley Horton for big picture classes, and it is cut on a piece of pattern paper from the Dear Lizzie Fine and Dandy collection. Off camera, I had added the 5 photos that I'm using, and I had also added some pattern paper to the back of that cut file. And the pattern paper are actually Project Life cards from the Hip Kit Club. Now I'm just working on getting the medium ready for my mixed media. I am using a glass bead glitter gel Close to My Heart blush reinker to give that medium a little bit of color. And once I have that mixed together, the color's still a little darker than I would like. So I'm going to come in with some white acrylic paint in just a moment to make that medium just a little bit more opaque. The tray that I'm using to mix all that product together is actually a piece of packaging from a Project Life kit that I had purchased. I like mixing it onto those clear plastic pieces because you can see right through it, so I'm able to see how much paint and how much product I need to add to match the colors of the papers that I'm using. Now that I'm happy with the color, I'm going to bring in a Tim Holtz stencil, and I'm just going to add a little stencil work to the outside edge of that cut file. I do end up coming in towards the center as I'm adding color there because it felt like it was just a little off balance having the stencil work just around the outer edge of the cut file. If you've never used the glass bead glitter gel, it does actually have little beads mixed in, and it gives it this nice iridescent shiny look to it. And I was a little worried because the stencil that I'm using is fine, so I didn't know if the beads would fit through that stencil that I'm using, but it ended up working out fine, and I'm happy with the finished product. I think the acrylic paint that I added when I was mixing the mediums together took away a little bit of that shimmer. So the next time I use this bead glitter gel, I'm going to try it without the acrylic paint to see if it gives it a little bit more of a shine. So I'm just going to keep on adding that mixed media in until I'm happy with the coverage. You see that I keep bringing the cut file back in on top of that white cardstock. I just want to make sure that where I'm placing those dots isn't going to be completely covered by the cut file. I do want the cut file covering some of it because I want it to look like it's almost peeking out around the edges and kind of in the center of the cut file there, just to make it look a little bit more unison. So there's just a few more spots that I'm going to add that mixed media work, and right now it looks like a hot splotchy mess, but once I bring the cut file in and lay it on top of that mixed media work, it's going to look a lot better. And now I'm going to start bringing in some embellishments. I'm going to bring in a gold glittered circle piece there that you see. That is from the Maggie Holmes Shine collection. And then I have this sticker sheet that's actually from Close to My Heart, and it's from the Gold Fundamentals assortment. You get a sticker sheet that has circles and stars and hearts. There's also some paper clips, bows, and wood veneer pieces that are all gold and glittery. They're beautiful. Now I'm bringing in some minked Heidi Swapp arrows, and I have a little circle up there that has a heart on it also, but I'm not going to end up keeping it there. But I did gold foil those to match the gold accents that I have going on. That gold glittery flower that I tucked in next to one of the hearts is from the Crepe Paper DIY shop. And now I am adding in some gold sequin trim that I purchased from Michael's. Now that trim is just sequins on a string. So when you cut the string, the sequins are loose and can slip off the ends. So I'm just using some liquid glass on the ends of the string to make sure that they're tied off so they can't slip off the string. I'm going to place that sequin trim on 2 of the Polaroid frames, and I'm going to place it on there in almost a wave formation. I will use liquid glass to adhere it to the paper, and then I do come in with my Close to My Heart mini stapler and add a couple staples on both ends to hold it in place. All right, so I'm stapling that down, and then I'm going to move on to the second strand of the sequins, and I'm going to put it on the top left frame. And I wasn't really paying attention to how I had placed the first strand, so I just stapled that down and did it in a wave formation, but I added a second wave, and I staple it down, and then I realized that they don't match, and I don't like how that looks. So in a little bit, I'm going to come through, and I'm going to pull out the staples that I had placed and make it so that the 2 waves match each other. There I was just adding an additional sequin that had come loose when I cut the strand to make sure that there weren't any loose ends. So here's where I'm pulling out those staples so I can rearrange the wave formation so it matches the first strand that I had put down. And now I'm going to start adhering down my embellishments. You can see on one of the center frames there with the pink with the polka dots that there is an enamel shape glued to the center of that frame. What had happened there is I was trying to see if I liked that placed there, and it's adhesive backed. So when I put it down, it was not coming up, and I'm okay with it. I think it looks fine. It comes from the Close to My Heart Retired Balloon Ride collection, and now I'm adding a bow to that bottom right Polaroid frame, and that is from Heidi Swap. It is a mint color and it has some gold stripes through it. It's really, really pretty. That star that I added there is an acetate piece. I am not sure what collection that's from or even how long I've had it, but it matched the colors that I had going on perfectly, so I'm going to add it right there, and then my title's actually going to go over that star. I'm using a tiny alphabet set that's wood veneer from Studio Calico, and I'm just using some tweezers with some liquid glass and just spelling it. I start from the last letter and work my way to the first letter. That way I know that it's going to fit correctly and that I'm not going to end up hanging over the edge of the frame by the time I get to the last letter. I'm just going to keep playing around with some more embellishments, seeing if there's anything else that I want to add. That is another enamel shape from that Balloon Ride Close to My Heart collection. It ends up not making it onto the layout. I do bring in some of these Pink Fresh Studio puffy sequin stickers, and I'm going to add those in a few different places, just kind of scattered about. I'm liking how this is coming together. I'm just trying to figure out if there's any other small pieces that I can add just to finish it off. I am going to bring in from that cut file the centers of the O's and adhere those down onto the paper to make the words look a little bit more final and complete. I did at some point add some stitching to the layout also. I added a zigzag stitch through a few of the frames. You can't really see it from this angle, but you will be able to see it a little bit better in the close-ups at the end. So I feel at this point that the layout is still just missing something. So I'm going to bring in some more embellishments just to find some small final touches. That's that same sticker sheet from Close to My Heart that the gold glittered hearts came from. And then I'm going to bring in some enamel dots from My Mind's Eye. I'm going to add a couple of the tealy turquoisey color to that bottom right frame. And then I'm also going to bring in a couple of enamel dots from Close to My Heart. They are pink enamel dots that are going to match those Pink Fresh Studio sequin puffy stickers perfectly. Once those are down, the layout is pretty much complete. I'm just going to add some liquid glass to any areas that are not adhered well to the cardstock. In just a moment, I'm going to leave you with some still shots. I am having so much fun making these videos. Please remember to subscribe if you are liking them. I'm trying to get at least one out every week. Sometimes with my work schedule, it's a little tricky. But as always, thank you so much for watching.